is any conflict in human history, this war has not produced any, break of the people's will to go on fighting. The same what was happening to the UK back in World War II. So yeah, no matter what happens, the nation is not moving towards any sort of a deal with the devil with Russia.
The Russian spokesman at the UN denying responsibility for the attack, and then quoting the Amnesty International agency, saying this goes to prove that it's the Ukrainians who are the aggressors and they're using their own people as human shields.
Mm-hmm. Well, of course, this latest scandalous, very problematic report from Amnesty International, it was worded the way that was extremely convenient for the Russian propaganda to use it. Because, it's been long time since Russia has weaponized all the information it can get. It relies on authoritative organizations like Amnesty International, and when they are doing a bad job in terms of reporting on this war, they are more than happy to use every word as a weapon of war, particularly in the information war against Ukraine. Of course, the latest report from the AI gave them this weapon of this. But,
why do you think Amnesty International did that? I saw the tweet, and I believe that the head of Amnesty International Ukraine has now resigned. But why do you think they did that?
I'm not super eager in terms of, having any conspiracy theories behind, like any ties between, Kremlin and the organization. I believe that the simplest and the most obvious question here is that, Amnesty International has done a bad job in terms of, having a balanced report and balanced view towards this war. I don't think that there was a sort of a specific bias or conspiracy behind that. They just did a bad job. They did not do a fair job in terms of, all the context of disproportion of, violations of law of war between Ukraine and Russia. And
okay, but how would you respond to the other point from Polyansky, the Russian spokesman, who says, look, Russian forces hold this particular plant. It's in our control. It's a sensitive place. Why would we bomb it? It's not us, it's you. That's what he said.
But at the same question can be from the Ukrainian side. Why would we be bombing one of the largest nuclear power plants in Europe, in the middle of Ukrainian territory, in a situation where any disaster could be almost fatal to the whole population and pretty much most of this country? So if we're not embracing any conspiracy theories or propagandistic things about evil Kiev Nazis or whatever else, just slaughtering their own population. So it makes absolutely no sense for Ukraine to deliver fire against the power plant as well.
I see that President Zelensky has called for a stronger international response to this attack. How worried are you? How worried is he, do you think, that Ukraine's allies are losing interest? Because it would appear that that's what President Putin is hoping for.
Mm-hmm. This is exactly why, from my own perspective, Russians are doing this, and in line of many other things that they're doing in terms of, terrorizing the informational space, bringing in all this, perception of fear, of a disaster, of bloodsheds, because they are trying to, promote and motivate these fears, demotivate those helping Ukraine. So helping promote this agenda, saying that, giving up on Ukraine is safer than, going on and, messing up with this aggressive Kremlin that is capable of anything. So yeah, it's one of many things that are being done. And from my perspective, the best thing that Ukrainian president and also presidents of other nations can do is to actually strip Russia of all of its influence and all of its presence in Ukraine, because the sooner the world provides Ukraine with actual tools to end the Russian military presence in Ukraine, the safer the whole world will be.
Mm-hmm. Illia, I would say this from the UK, that although Ukraine is still in the headlines on a regular basis, it's nowhere near the top of the news bulletins as it used to be. It's much lower down, and people are now doing features on the Ukrainians here in the UK, having been here for a number of months for the Homes for Ukraine program. But it's not where it was. How alarmed are you at that?
Mhm. I can't say we could not expect that because obviously, it's been close to 6 months since the big invasion was launched. So quite obvious was the fact that, at some point we will see like a certain drop of attention towards this topic. But still, I see that, the global attention to what's happening to Ukraine is still quite significant and still quite enough in this regard. But from our side, from here in Ukraine, this is what we're doing. This is what we're working, to keep the attention focused, and but also being realistic, also telling everyone that we need to break the situation in this war,
Yep.
to get a big pie before this fatigue becomes critical.
And what about the mood of the people you speak to? How do you gauge the mood of Ukrainians more generally? Because although we don't feel it here, say in the UK, bombs are still dropping on certain parts of Ukraine every single day. People are dying in Ukraine every single day. What are people saying now? How are people responding?
Well, the morale remains very high. It's very strong. All those, and as any as any conflict in human history, this war has not produced any break of the people's will to go on fighting. The same what was happening to the UK back in World War II. So yeah, no matter what happens, the nation is not moving towards any sort of a deal with the devil with Russia, and lots of terrible things are happening, but still, life goes on, economy runs on, people go to theaters, restaurants, spending money, paying taxes, consuming and producing. So in large cities pretty far away from the actual front line, like in Kiev, for instance, it's a very normal life. It has returned to very normal life that is pretty similar to what we had before the war. So yeah.
And how much of a boost was the departure of a grain ship for the first time in 5 or 6 months from the port of Odessa, I think it went to Istanbul, didn't it? And on there, from there to Lebanon. How hopeful were people at seeing that? Was it symbolically powerful?
I don't think that, such things like grain transportation and shipment, they have a huge impact on the majority of population. So mostly it's about those who are interested in economic situation in the news, but in general populations looks at larger things. What was a huge boost was something large, like national-wide wise, strategic-wise, like the Russian defeat near Kiev or near Nikolaev. That was the huge boost to national morale and hope. But details like the shipment, the production, many other things like currency rates, yeah, they're important. We know it, they're important. But the regular guy in the streets are not as interested as we could be, like those who actually work with these topics.